What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sweet and Sour Show. This is Michael Ma, and I'm here with Brian Rama.
What's going on, everybody?
And, Christmas just passed, so I hope everyone had a great holiday. I know I did with my family, just in our house, trying to stay safe and eat some good food. What about you, Brian?
About the same. Just spend time with my mom and FaceTime the rest of our family.
FaceTime and Zoom is the way to go. Yeah, that's what we have to use now in this weird 2020, and who knows how much longer this is gonna be. But let's hope for the best. And this has been a tough year, right? With COVID and pandemic, affecting a lot of businesses, affecting a lot of people, and that's what we want to talk about today. We want to reflect on this year with all the challenges we had to face and how we had to adapt to it. And also, put out some goals, moving forward, right? We got to speak out our goals. We're going to manifest it into reality. Right, Brian?
For sure, for sure. So I guess we'll start with some challenges for COVID, shut down everything. The whole city is shut down. And I know for you, shooting weddings and stuff, so I'm sure there was a bunch of cancellations and restaurants. If you want to touch on some of that, how it affected you personally, that'd be good.
Yeah, I think, a lot of my a lot of my videos were based on events and weddings, right? Regular events and weddings and restaurants. And when the pandemic hit and it became like a serious thing for us, it was like everyone's wedding were getting postponed or canceled. Some people just, got married and didn't even have a wedding at all. And, events, obviously, you can't have more than a certain amount of people at the beginning. And restaurant closed. Either they closed or they stayed open for takeout. And, there's no budget, right? Because people weren't working. They didn't have, jobs. They didn't have money to eat out. So it was kind of like they don't have the budget to advertise. I don't have any work as well. So that was I would say the biggest challenge I've had ever since I've started on my own. Because, before it was where I'm going to find my clients. Now it's just, there's nowhere you can find clients. Yeah. It's people aren't just, able to spend money at that time.
Yeah, the economy definitely took a hit. So a lot of people losing their businesses and, just trying to find a way to adapt to the changing times. I know I saw at the beginning of the pandemic, one photographer used doing FaceTime photo shoots and stuff like that, just trying to get creative.
Yeah. That was super cool. Actually, I was like, that's legit. And it actually shows the talent of that photographer too. Like, that was a FaceTime, Zoom, whatever photo shoot. And granted, the model looked great and she was good at what she was doing, but those images look amazing.
If you wouldn't have told me, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? That was a Zoom or a FaceTime photo shoot. So that was super creative, and I really, really like that.
Just learning how to adapt during the times. I know for me personally, I don't do as many events as you do, but we do a lot of client work. So we had to just learn how to adapt for their social medias and shooting different types of content that we normally wouldn't shoot for them, like photos or running different types of campaigns. Just trying to adapt because, like you said, the budget and there's not as much foot traffic in certain places. So you have to be strategic. So to push for online sales and run Facebook ads or just trying to communicate with them. And it's also a risk because, like you said, the budget might not be there for them because their income is less.
Yeah.
And just stressing terms you have to try something. You can't just fold. But it sucks to be like that to them because it feels like, oh, I'm trying to sell them something at a hard time, but you just got to find a balance in that.
Yeah, I've actually seen people, write about, photographers or videographers trying to still sell their, I guess, skills to the struggling industry. But you gotta understand that this is our work too. Like we need to live too. Like like it's not like I'm going in trying to sell full price to people. I'm trying to help them too by giving them content. At the same time, I'm trying to help myself because it's my job too, regardless of what you think. So that was a very tough couple months to handle, and it's gotten better. I would say it's been how long has it been, Brian? Like 9 months, 8 9 months,
Yeah, it feels
10 months in the U.S.
It really feels like.
It feels like forever.
No, for me it feels like yesterday.
Feels like yesterday
because the shutdown started around my birthday.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I was like, oh, like I had to DoorDash myself food for my birthday, and it was like McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't even remember. I was just like
20 piece.
Yeah.
McDouble.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sweet tea.
Sweet.
It was just like, okay, like bars are closed, restaurants are closed, like nothing to do.
Yeah.
But like it feels like yesterday. I was like, man, like this is wild. Like when is it gonna end?
Yeah.
And I remember somebody posting something about like, oh, hey, like I'm making masks with designs on them. And I thought to myself, I was like, that's risky because this is going to be over real soon. Like you're putting all this money into masks.
That's what we think. That's what we want.
Spoiler, it's still
for it's still happening, but for some people they already think that it's not happening anymore.
Like, oh, this is not going to be. Yeah. It's like you see those memes where it's like, man, like we're gonna get a whole week off. No way. Right. It's like business has been shut down for months. Like people are struggling.
People working from home. Just they can't go find, like, as much as you want to tell people go find a job. Like it's not that easy for some people. They might be immune compromised. That they might be living with someone that can't take the risk. Right. So. It's really not fair when you're like, just go do it. Just go live your life. Well, no, just because you don't, you're not worried about dying doesn't mean other people don't, want to. Yeah. So, it's just be nice to everybody. Just be nice to each other.
Yeah. Wear your mask.
Wear your mask.
Stop the spread.
Stop spread. It's not that hard. I shot a wedding for 10 hours. I double masked the entire day. I'm not complaining. It's not that bad. Okay.
Were the people there wearing masks?
The people, some people weren't wearing masks, so they were pretty good. They were pretty good with social distancing. They weren't, being too. They were being pretty polite. But I personally was wearing 2 masks, and I sweat a little bit, but it's not like I'm about to die. I'm not super uncomfortable. I was holding a camera. I was running on a 5D Mark IV 2470 on a Ronin S. I'm not complaining. And then you people that don't want to wear a mask walk into HEB for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
a whole nother discussion.
That is a whole nother discussion. I'm kind of flying off to outer space with this. But yeah, just with I think these challenges, it's not how to survive, it's how to adapt, right? How to reinvent yourself. And I kind of actually got this from a friend and a client of mine, Ronnie at Roostar. He said that they weren't in, what did he say? They were in reinvention mode is what he said, right? Because he has a restaurant, and he had to figure out how, to, I guess, operate during COVID. And, he said they weren't in survival mode. They were in reinvention one. I heard that and I was like, you know what, that's true. Let's not think about how to survive. Let's just think how to reinvent yourself to adapt to what's happening, right? And I think that's kind of what happened this past couple of months. Ever since the city started slowly opening back up, I was thinking, okay, now it's slowly opening back up, but events are really supposed to happen. I'm not too comfortable filming events. Weddings, they already trim it down, right? I think they're doing like 20%, 30%. I don't know, remember what it was, but weddings I'm okay to do because you're in a very big venue, but there are people still throwing events inside a club with packed people with no mask.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously not going to do any of those. So I'm like, okay, what can I do, right? How can I reinvent myself? How can I redo my business to where I can still make money? And so what I started looking at doing was real estate. Now, real estate is something that I've done before, just not a lot. But because of COVID, that's when I started to find more, realtors that are needing content or video work. Because you think about it, nowadays, people don't want to go house shopping in some random person's house, right? They or the person is not comfortable with strangers walking into their home while they're still living there. So what's the best way to advertise to sell your house is to have a guy like me. I come in, I make you a cool cinematic video. I do some 360 what do you call those 360 I can't
Like a
think.
virtual tour.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. Yeah, virtual tour. I do virtual tours for them. So that was kind of like a new business route that I was heading into because one, it's just me and the realtor. Sometimes just me and the house, an empty house. I don't have to deal with anybody. I don't have to deal with, any obstacles. It's just I just figure everything out on my own, and that was a very safe way to do business. And I was also helping out the real estate industry.
Yeah, so I think like you said, like reinventing yourself and not being so one dimensional. This was definitely something I've taken from this whole time is like being able to be diverse in your skills and finding different ways to create and service clients and just like thinking of different opportunities for their business to grow as well as yours. So it really helps them. So I mean, it's been challenging for everybody. Now that we're just kind of, it's a weird time still because you feel like, oh, it's almost over, but is it really almost over?
It's not over. People think, oh, 2021 is going to be great, but
Yeah,
it's
it's not
just
like,
because it's a new year doesn't mean COVID over Rona over here is like, oh, bet 2021, I'm out. I'm out of here.
Exactly.
But
So,
yeah, I mean, it's just, I think when I first started, people were asking like, what kind of niche, right? What are you gonna focus in? Just do that. Just do that. Don't do anything else. Just do that. And I wouldn't say I don't know what I want to do, but I kind of enjoy doing a little bit of everything, and that I feel like kind of helped me out when I started doing a little bit of everything. If I were to just do full-time weddings only, what would I have done for the past, couple months?
you'll be a little out of luck there.
I'd be very out of luck. I'd
But
have to tell people, hey, I can shoot this too. And they'd be like, well, show me a video. And then I would have nothing but couples walking around.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like it's definitely tough. Like you just need to learn to be able to adapt, to be like more flexible in your skills because it does suck. Because there are people who only shoot weddings. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like all their gear, all their like focus is
just weddings.
Like just weddings.
Yeah.
Or like engagements. I know a photographer friend of mine, she does babies. Mm-hmm. Like that's all she does is kids.
Yeah.
Like like families and kids.
Right.
And like people aren't trying to bring their newborn babies out
Yeah,
like to get photo shoots.
Right.
Like so she adapted. She has a studio. She, put in the safety measures for cleaning, and I know she did Santa photos, but socially distant Santa photos. So she had to be creative. Like on one side, Santa was holding like a banner, and the other side, the kids holding the other side. Like okay, that makes you feel like you never actually touched Santa. The kids can talk to him from afar.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or like, if it's setting up a private scene in her studio, like, oh, like there's a Christmas tree and stuff, like, in between she can clean and show her clients, like, okay, like adaptability.
Right.
But, it's just figuring out that middle ground where, you can make your clients feel comfortable and yourself comfortable to protect your own family from, just anything anybody else can bring into your home.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And yeah, man. So I don't know. There was a lot of different ways to, I guess, operate during this time. And one thing that I do myself is I have kind of like a side creative business. I mean, I am in a creative business, but this is not related to me doing videography and video content. It's more of social media content. And I do a lot of I do not a lot, but I do social media management for small restaurants. I only do two because I don't have time to manage more than two. But those were kind of, I look at those as my passive income, right? I get paid monthly for those, and I know I have money coming in those months, and during COVID too, it was I I had to pause for one of the restaurants, and another one asked if we could go half, and I was like, you know what, that's fair. Like, I appreciate that you keeping me on to help me, and we're taking the price in half, so I can help you, right? As the times, are happening, people aren't really going out much to eat, so I was really happy that I had those, as kind of like my, how do you say it, Brian? Like your back, no, not back burner, no,
You're,
like
the
a
word I
what's
had
the
the word in
word?
my head,
Uh
but it also is evading me at this moment.
oh,
But
okay,
it's like your safety net.
yeah, something like that, and it's also something creative, right? That I can do. I can, help these businesses out by making some cool content, trying to reel customers back in, or try to, let them know that it's safe to come,
Mm-hmm.
take dine out. I mean, not dine, yeah, to dine out, to just order to go. And well, granted, we're not a restaurant. Restaurant, it's more desserts, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, just come get your dessert and eat at
Yeah, and
home.
people might not know that they're open or
Exactly, and exactly, and is it like how safe are you guys? And I just want to show people like, hey, look, we disinfect our store. We're taking all kinds of measures to make sure it's safe for not only you, the customer, but the staff too. So that's you just I feel like you just gotta find, as an entrepreneur, you have to find different ways to make a living, right? I if it weren't for those, it would be even more tough for me
mm-hmm.
during a couple of months. So
Yeah, same. I had a few clients pause their monthly retainers with us because they closed, I think, half of their stores, and it didn't make sense for them to keep investing in our
yeah,
services. So I was
yeah,
like, I understand. Like,
right,
I'm not here to be like, no, we signed a contract. Like, I get it. Everybody's struggling.
yeah,
And like you said, like, we have another one. Never business as usual. First of the month, pick up your check.
yeah,
Like, I know they're struggling just as much as everybody else, but
right,
they want like, as respect to both parties, they want to keep pushing forward. They want to keep, you know, their business going even during the hard times. So I truly appreciate them because they're the ones who kept us afloat.
yeah,
But
exactly.
but every business is different. I'm sure they have a buffer of, they've budgeted for this, but
Yeah, some people do. Unfortunately, some people
yeah,
don't, or
I
they
mean, it's just the
didn't,
industry.
and
It's just the industry.
and they had to close. Right, I've seen some restaurants that closed, because of like Bernie's.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie's closed a few. I think they're all closed now, unfortunately, which is very sad to see this happening to small business like this. And so I try to help out when I can, right? If someone needs help, especially mom and pop small businesses, I wouldn't even charge full price because, hey, you're trying to survive as I'm trying to survive. Like, my mindset is this is my community. We're all in this together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can only do good by helping each other out. So I think it's also very important too. Is not only think about yourself, but think about other people too.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I know like just little things like having an influence on social media, like even if you just shout out a local business or just post something on your Instagram story like, hey, like I had really good tacos at this place, like your audience could draw you could draw your audience to different restaurants and
Oh man, that right, that brings me fond memories of what happened a couple months ago when I released my documentary.
oh, so you just want to plug your
I'm
documentary.
gonna plug my documentary, Julie Jules documentary, how TikTok has helped. I will link that somewhere, but
Link it in the show
no,
notes.
but I just want to talk about that real quick, just real quick. Just give me like 2 minutes to talk about that. I had this idea, this documentary idea, long before what happened, right? My friend Julie Jules, which I might ask her to come on here. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. She is a creative. She is a creator here in Houston. She's an Instagrammer, a blogger, whatever you want to call her. And she would, oh, she made it on TikTok. She got very popular. So she would start going to these small businesses just to, purchase some items and put them on TikTok to help them out, right? She walked in, she bought the items, she posted a video, and that was it. So these businesses started getting a lot of people coming in because they saw her TikTok. They're like, oh, I saw Julie's TikTok. I need to come get this cupcake or whatever that they were selling, liquors, whatever, alcohol. And so she was helping a lot of these businesses. And then Mr. Chris Shepard over here, I guess he posted on his Instagram about some random blogger or person DMing one of his restaurants asking them if they could give them free food in exchange for a post. Now, I'm not completely siding with either one. The way that blogger went about it to me was kind of like read the room, don't do that, But at the same time, with really relevant bloggers and Instagrammers or TikTokers, they really helped. I mean, look at the case of Julie. She, she could have asked for free stuff. She didn't, granted, because she wanted to help the community. But if you would have just given someone like Julie maybe a free box of food or whatever, and then she posts it for you, and in comes, a couple hundred or thousands of people come into your restaurant, you have just gained a lot of business from one box of food. So I think, it's we should just open our eyes. We should just be open and inviting to all kinds of possibilities and opportunities, and not just shut everyone out because you think that's all they want. You have to vet these people, right? You have to, just like when you're hiring a marketing company, you hire me as a videographer. You have to see my past work. If you hire me to shoot your wedding and you've never seen my wedding work, how can you be sure that I'm gonna give you a good video, right? If you see my work and you're like, oh man, this person's good, I want to hire them, you would hire them. Same as, these bloggers, Instagrammers, or whatever. If you, if they message you, look at their page, right? Are they taking great pictures? Do they have a lot of people interacting? What are they asking for their data, right? What makes you? What data can you help provide to me that makes me want to, I guess, collaborate with you and work with you? So that's my take on this. Just really short, really quick.
To touch on, sorry, to touch on that real quick. Like you said, yeah, I think the blogger did approach it incorrectly because
Incorrectly, and also I'm gonna throw this in there. That blogger, I will not name who it was, but I found out who it was. When I looked at their page, I would be mad too.
yeah, but okay, like that aside, like because they're trying to build a brand for themselves, but I feel like, especially considering the times, like showing your support to the restaurant like is just as important as like, hey, like
Yeah,
like I want free food or whatever to like in exchange for me coming to take pictures. Like, oh, like I feel like if they would approach like, hey, I'm coming do you mind if if I shoot in your establishment, because a lot of places don't like that, just
Right.
asking permission to shoot. And then maybe they'll be like, oh well, I appreciate you coming. Maybe they'll give you, maybe they'll comp a few things, maybe
I think it's just a different way of wording it. Now, I no, some I don't agree 100%. I don't disagree 100%, but some bigger, more influential bloggers, it is a lot of work for them. So, yeah, you want to support the restaurant, but at the same time, their work has to be recognized too. What they do have to be recognized in some way or form, right? Whether it's a payment, payment for coming in to take the picture and do the work, or giving them, a comp meal or something,
Yeah.
right? Their services have to be recognized too, because I've done this for a couple years and I'm not the best food blogger out there. I don't take as much time to do all these things, but people that do, like the amount of work they put in to put 5 stories up, the information they put out, it's a lot of work. It's not just sitting there like whatever. There's a lot. Before I got started in this, I didn't know there was special hashtags. I didn't know there's how many certain amounts you have to put, which ones to put to get attraction. The algorithms. It's a lot. It's not like if you've never really seen it, you wouldn't never understand. That's why there's a lot of people that are like automatically on Chris's side, like, oh, all these people, blah 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 blah. I don't want to repeat it, but you know,
Yeah. Uh, I'm like in the middle there.
yeah,
Obviously, if you're a bigger influencer creator, like you've built your brand already. Like, you've done the legwork, you've done the homework. But people starting out, like, say if I decided one day, I say, you know what, like I really like eating quesadillas.
Yeah.
I want to go on the road
Yeah.
and show people the best quesadillas.
Yeah.
I can't just walk up to
no, of
anywhere.
course not.
But
Not.
like people who've grinded it out, built their brand, like
Yeah.
I feel that's a completely different story.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. When I first started, I just took pictures of food that I ate when I went out to eat. It was never. What is a tasting? I don't even know what a tasting is.
So I think I think it just depends it's like a situational based thing. Like, if it's a bigger person, they're like reaching out, like.
I think it's also a situation too, like the time, I think didn't really help, that they were already probably stressed out about what's happening. And when they get messages like that, they're like, we're already stressing out. And so they don't really see, maybe there's a benefit. Maybe there's not.
Do you think if it was a bigger influencer, like say 100K, 50K, he would have reacted differently?
First of all, I don't think that influencer would have done the same thing that this person did. But I think that it would have helped a lot more. They probably would have recognized it more. They probably would have taken it more seriously than they did with the other person.
Yeah, because I figured because I don't want to sound like bougie or like I'm too good for people. Because I have people all the time DM me on Instagram like, hey, like I'm a photographer, like I want to collab, I want to work on a project. I'm like, okay, that's fine, and like I'm down to give anybody a chance.
Yeah.
But if I click on your profile and you have one post and I'm trying to engage with you, like, hey, like, but they just want to piggyback off me, like, hey, like, bring me to this event and introduce me to everybody, but you're not trying to put in work,
right?
Then you feel some type of way, like, oh, like,
yeah.
But if it's like, say, if you hit me like, hey, like, I'm shooting Orange Calderon, like, hey, Michael, I know, like, you're gonna kill this, like, come through. Like, it's different, like, 'cause I know you grinded, like, I know you put in the work, like, I can trust you,
right?
That in a collaborative effort, like, you're gonna pull your weight, like, not like, hey, like, I'm gonna DM some rando on Instagram, like, hey, pull through, like, let me give you this opportunity, and they're like, they just want me to do stuff and like, hey, just tag me, like, because I've had that before.
Oh wow!
Like, they just show up and like, oh, like, they're just shooting for the Instagram story, but they're not shooting any real content that I can use. Like, what are you here for? You're just here for Instagram clout, which is, like,
Just there for clout.
yeah. So
Just there for clout.
I mean, I see both ways. I mean, I think it was just like the perfect storm for the situation to be like blown up out of proportion, because it goes like you need both sides, but you need to be also like you need to read the room a little. Like,
yeah, I think that was just unfortunate what happened, and however you are, I hope you learned your lesson. But anyway, so with all that said, I think we have some goals moving forward. I know it's always year end. People have resolutions. They make goals for the new year, but I'm always like, I set my goals whenever I want.
Yeah.
If it's your goal, you don't need to wait till January 1st to do it. So I just want to talk about some of my goals, right, that I want for myself and my business coming in next year. Not necessarily waiting till January 1st to start, but maybe I've started it, but these are my goals. And, Brian can talk about some of his too. And we'll start with Brian.
Some of my goals going forward, like I said before, what the pandemic taught me is just to be like multidimensional in my craft, and trying to like trying to push myself, not to settle to be comfortable, just because at any given moment anything could happen. Like I work with a team. Like one day my team can just be like, you know what, we're done. Like I have to, like just learning every aspect of it, like not being lazy. Like, oh, hey, like social media content, like, oh, we have somebody helping with social media content. So like, oh, sometimes my focus isn't always there. Just like being able to engage in every aspect of our business and craft, just learning, and then just like pushing myself more to be more like aggressive, being not to like, oh, like I guess like for me, like I'm always more reserved and like, oh, like, the time will come for this or that. Like, no, like just go out, get it, shoot it. Like, like making yourself uncomfortable, like always at the end, you always come out better. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's my main thing. And I feel like that can be applied to anyone. Like, just like taking more risks and, just like I said, just trying to push my craft in different ways that I haven't before. Mm-hmm. I think that's about it for me.
I mean, actually, I agree with a lot of what you just said too. A lot more do it than let's talk about it.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Kind of like when we started this podcast. We were always talking about, let's do it, let's do this, and it's been months. Yeah. And I was like, Brian, let's just talk. Let's just get on and talk. I mean, if we keep talking about it, we're never gonna do it. We're just gonna talk about doing it.
Exactly.
Right. So I agree with that a lot. But for me, I guess my goal, for actually 2020 happened in October, November, December, the last quarter of this year. I wanted it to be the entire year, which my goal was just to double my business. And, if the last quarter would have happened every single quarter, I would have doubled my business. But COVID happened, so I didn't. So my goal is to double my business for the entire year. Hopefully, COVID slows down more or goes away. The vaccine, hopefully everyone takes the vaccine, or at least I'm going to get it, just so I could be safe and continue to do business. And, another thing I want to do is just practice my craft, right? Just make myself better, learn more. I am actually signed up on Skillshare and to start learning how to do, different things like visuals in After Effects, and just trying to better myself, instead of watching The Office for for the 20th million time, I can just go on Skillshare and try to learn how to make, visual effects on After Effects. So just trying to spend my time better, trying to improve myself in my video skills, in my photo skills, and just in general or personally, just wanting to get my mind right, just wanting to figure out things on my own and just figuring out how to become a better person and to, be a better video creator.
Yeah, for sure. And to touch on like that one goal, like how you say you want to double your business, I guess making a plan, like doubling your business is the long-term goal. So like in the short term, like thinking of things you can do to reach that long-term goal. Just like short-term goals to like, oh, what do I need to do to get there? Like, okay, I need to be more aggressive on social media. I need to be more aggressive attaining clients, or over delivering to certain clients where, they're willing to set that higher retainer for you, and finding value in all the work that you provide. So I think that like
just keeping relationships to be good and to make more connections, and just I think it goes with the creating more too. The more I create, the more portfolio I have, the more people will come to me, and honestly feel like connections are important, because the community of videographers, photographers in Houston, I feel like are very strong. We help each other out. I've had a guy that needed somebody to do some photos for him because he was out of town. I went and did that for him. He's a cool guy, great guy. And someone had hit me up to do videos for a particular industry that I didn't want to go into. So it was something that he does. And I gave it to him. And I mean, this community is also all about helping each other out. Houston is big, right? You can't do everything on your own. I told this guy, I said, I don't see competition because I do my own work. I believe in my work. I think it's great. I'm going to get mine. And I want everybody else to get theirs too. So it's all about helping each other out. Yeah. Make the connections.
It's interesting you say that, because I feel it's a Houston mentality to have like, oh, everybody, it's me against everybody, versus like, oh, if we all helped each other out, we could all eat so much more.
Exactly.
Versus like, oh, like, no, I'm not going to share this lead with Michael because I don't want him to get the money, because I'd rather just like, I'd rather keep him down.
See, it's like,
it's a ridiculous,
I want it to be, if I'm eating, you eating too. I want everybody to eat good, exactly. Right? I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, I made it, and I want you to be down there. No, I want to bring you up with me. Like, there's no, I can't stand people that don't want to do that. It's just like, why? Like, what's the problem? What's the issue?
I'd be lying if I didn't go through that myself. Yeah. Because like, just I've always, like, I was kind of just like raised with that mentality, not in like my home, but just like living in Houston my whole life. Just the littlest things, like, oh, hey, like, I want to get some Jordans this weekend. Nobody's ever going to tell you their plug because they feel like, oh, they're going to steal it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
so with that said, what's the plug, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole another story.
So more Brian's still not holding on to his plug. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's a secret.
I need the Grinch's plug.
Yeah, but like I said, like, I go through that. I still low key go through that. Like, but now that I'm older, like, I'm more mature, like, I think differently than I did when I was younger. Yeah, like, I can, like, I can remember times where, like, I could have easily been in a better situation in my life, but I chose just to, I'd rather not do that because I didn't want other people to steal the spotlight from me, which now that I think about it, like, is stupid. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like really, like, it's really dumb. Like, all the connections I had before, like, I kind of burned the bridges because I was like, no, like, y'all aren't going to come up because of me. Like, I'm going to make it because of me. Right. Like, yeah, like, I'm not giving anybody help because I'm putting in the work. I'm the one here, sleepless nights, putting in all this type of stuff.
Right.
But in reality, if I would have listened, like, oh, like they could open so many doors for me, like, you know, like people just helping.
Exactly.
And that's something I have to learn.
I mean, we all grow, right? We all
Yeah.
make sure we all learn from mistakes, and you know that's part of growing, right?
Yeah.
It's learning from mistakes in the past, and you know it's a long road ahead, right? It's not ending anytime soon, so we can, like I said, we can only get better from this, and we can all get better, and we can all do great together.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, add that to my list. Like, I don't like to try to shed that more selfish mentality and just because I mean, it's not that I have it. I still think that way in some forms, but I understand now that everybody eats is a better
Yeah.
life to live. Because,
Right.
like, you know, just like me and you, like, you know, like, I don't feel like I can throw you work all day and I'm not feel like, okay,
Right.
good. But, you know, there's just sometimes I just feel like I need to be selfish. But,
Right.
you know, just like that's part of, like you said, part of growth. And going forward, like, I mean, I fight it every day. Like,
Yeah.
just, you know, changing your mentality, like, that I've lived with for years.
Yeah.
Of
I
like,
mean,
oh,
you can't just wake up one day and just be like, okay, I'm a different person now.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
it's just something we all gotta work on, and you know, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great.
2021.
2021.
I feel like every year, like, oh, 2021 or 2020 is my year. 2021 is my year.
Every year, it's your year if you make it your year.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about snowballing.
2020 has been a bumpy ride, right? For me, emotionally, with things that happened in my personal life, to the whole world, to my business, and me being like, what am I going to do? To, I've had the best 3 months of my business career. I've, you know, figured a lot of stuff out personally. And, you know, if it's your year if you will make it your year, right? You just got to go for it. You just got to go find it, and you'll make it. Simple as that.
I feel 2020 has made a lot of people stronger.
It has. It's like it's a weird thing to say, like, oh, you know, COVID got me strong, but you know, it's sad, right? I'm very sad for everybody that was affected by it, but
Yeah, for sure.
we've had to learn, like we talked about this whole episode. We have to learn and adapt and reinvent, and we've changed a lot. We've learned a lot, you know, and I guess that's the best thing that came out of this pandemic that is still happening.
It's just all about growth.
It's all about growth.
But I think we'll wrap this session today.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed our little conversation about the COVID struggles. You know, how we overcame it, and our goals for next year moving forward. So, I want to thank everybody for listening. We're going to obviously do more shows, and you know, that's it. I hope everyone have a great rest of the year. Looking forward to 2021, and we'll see you guys next year.
Talk to you guys next time.